Greetings, fellow seekers of truth, wisdom, and light. This is your friendly neighborhood esoteric practitioner, Reverend Eliot, coming to you live tonight from the city of New York, where we will get together for the next hour to look through the magical window of the tarot. The tarot shows us what's coming down the corner, around the corner, down the block, up the street, through the chimney. Hey, chimney, right? Santa Claus is coming for you kids listening. Santa will be around soon. I was into Santa Claus when I was a little kid, but, I don't know. Did this happen to everybody else? I haven't talked to anybody about this. I never asked anybody, but there came a day when it dawned on me that all the things that I told Santa Claus I wanted for Christmas were right out of the F.A.O. Schwartz catalog that I used to look at with my father and mother. And I remember the day thinking, now, wait a minute, there's something going on here. And it dawned on me that they were buying the gifts, and they said, oh, okay. And there was a glorious moment in my life that, it wasn't like traumatized because there was no Santa Claus. Of course, everybody gets traumatized now about everything. But they said, hang on a second, and they left the apartment and took the elevator down to the basement where there were some storage rooms, and they came up with all the gifts, and we got them early that year, my sister and I, because we figured it out. We figured out that this was a racket, and I kind of liked my parents a little bit more for all that time pretending that they weren't getting me that stuff. One of my favorite toys was a fake dashboard, which I used to use in the front seat of the car to pretend I was driving, which is hilarious considering I hated driving. When I got to the point where I was old enough to drive, I couldn't stand it. I have not driven a car since the Ford administration. That's simple. When my eyesight started to go, the neurologist looked at me, with tremors in a sense. And I thought, oh, God, no, she's going to tell me I've got 36 days to live. I could tell that she was about to deliver something really bad she didn't want to say. And she just blurted it out and said, you're not going to be able to drive anymore. And I guess, old men being told that they can't drive anymore. What are you talking about, you whippersnap? No. I said to her, no, Doc, I have not driven a car since Gerald Ford was president. I hated cars. I like cars. I just didn't like driving them. I gave it my best shot. I wasn't good at it. I hated doing it. It wasn't necessary because I could always find a way of getting where I wanted to go anyway. And my mind wandered too much, and that's not good. You should be concentrating, I suppose. Although I did have some classic driving experiences, like running a red light with a police car right next to me, But for some reason, they didn't stop me, which is good, because at that point, I had a learner's permit only, and I was alone in the car. Not cool, but I had to do something with the car. Oh, man, but I never liked it. So now that brings us to the subject of parking tickets, brings us to government enforcement. And I wanted to talk about that for a little bit because, as you know, I don't like to get political on this because life's passing parade is grander than mere politics, or more grand than mere grammar, whatever. And I was just thinking the other day, meaning yesterday, instead of spending all that tax money to hire 87,000 new armed IRS agents to get us all to fork over whatever money we have left, wouldn't it be great if the government hired 87,000 tarot readers and astrologers? Man, that would be great. That could change the whole nature of the country. Could you imagine getting a letter from the Internal Revenue Service? Says, dear Mr. Jones, we've been going over your tax returns, and we would like to come in and do a reading for you. Or, dear Mr. Jones, we were looking at your birth chart recently, and we think that you're going to have a few financial problems next year. Come on in, and we'll see what we can look at the cards, and we'll see what we can do to help straighten things out. That would be just wonderful. I mean, first of all, yeah, people accuse card readers and astrologers of not really knowing what's going on. Well, look at the condition of the world, all done by people who ostensibly know what's going on. Could you do any worse? Could a U.S. Department of Mystics do any worse? Who would it kill? Years ago, New Jersey, the great state of New Jersey, which so many people in New York like to make fun of, but they did something really advanced. They hired a philosopher. Somebody who got a degree in philosophy actually got a job as a philosopher instead of, teaching philosophy, which is really all they do. And they hired, now, which department of the government of New Jersey hired a philosopher? The penal department. They wanted to hire a guy to philosophize and muse upon the concept of being incarcerated. And he didn't last long in his job. They fired him because one of the first things he did was it came to his attention that just about everybody in prison had the same outlook, which is, I want to get the hell out of here. So, but that was a step in the right direction. There's nothing wrong with philosophers. I mean, that would be great if we had a council of philosophers. Now, they don't really agree on anything, but neither do economists. And no philosophers are going to crash the economy. Harry Truman once famously said that if you took all the economists in the world and laid them end to end, they'd point in all directions. Or in the middle of giving a lecture on the Great Depression back in 1935, Will Rogers stopped himself and said, I don't know why I'm discussing this. I don't know any more about this than an economist does, and just brought the house down. But I would like to say that what we need is, I'm not going to get political on this because I'm not blaming anyone. Who's just going to point out that's one of the things that magic and mysticism does is we really don't look at the world the way we think it should be. There's no shoulding about it. You don't should on people. That's my advice. Stop shoulding on people. The thing is that we look at the world the way it is, not the way we think it should be, and we deal with it. And if there's something we want to change, we'll work on changing it by changing us. Magical work, it works by working within ourselves. The mayor of New York City is not a very articulate person because he stumbles over a lot of concepts. But the other day he said something which really blew people's minds because we've had a few murders on the subway. Let's be blunt about it. People are getting killed on the subway here. And he said the problem is the people's perception of crime. And that's true. The problem is not necessarily the crime itself, but that we perceive that it's happening. Now, they make that sound like a bad thing. I mean, if I treat you badly and you perceive that I'm treating you badly, and the way you do that is by getting angry, you see, there's nothing wrong with that. People mock this idea of perception, and yet perception is how we perceive things. I'm not cheating on you, honey. That's just your perception because you saw me out with another woman. No, that doesn't work, you see. That doesn't fly. If you had a department of mystics, you could call up the government. You could dial whatever number it calls up the government and, call the, you imagine calling the government and getting Miss Cleo? Well, of course, you need a Ouija board for that at this point. But to someone like that, I don't see what's wrong with that. Because it's well known among sociologists, who are also people who like to screw with society and make it better. And, we're living in the results now of a whole bunch of people trying to make the world better, and look how it worked out, when all you have to do is pretty much leave things alone because society always works out, It's just trying to improve it that gets people in trouble. I mean, I've challenged people to show me anything that went wrong in the world that didn't begin with somebody saying, I got a great idea. So, but I have a great idea. There you go. See, I've just doomed my own premise. People go to, like here in New York, when we have problems with businesses going under, we have a lot of empty storefronts, and they don't stay empty for long. We used to get things like bonsai plant places, nail salons, and that's always a sign that the business rental market is pretty bad. But before that, we would get tarot readers. Gypsy families used to live in them. I'm sorry, Romany families. Not allowed to say gypsy now for some reason. But they would live there, and they would read cards. And it's been well known. I used to speak with those people, those folks, those Romany folk, And the whole idea of of people going to get tarot readings off the street and going into a storefront is people want someone to talk to, someone who listen to them. And that's what I was talking about that briefly last week about, I'm not saying take your life in your hands and go up to every maniac on the street if you live in an urban area, because things are really weird nowadays. But I do, when panhandlers come up to me, and even if they're aggressive and I haven't got anything to give them, I'll talk to them. I'll chat with them. I'll offer them a cigar. You'd be surprised how many people take that. And then you will both have a cigar and we'll stand there for about a half hour and just talk. And that's what a lot of people are missing in the world, is that human contact. Now, imagine 87,000 card readers in the government. If you wanted someone to talk to, would you call an IRS agent? Yeah. If you wanted someone to talk to, would you call a social worker or a psychiatrist? I think not, because down that way, trouble lies. But if you could talk to someone, say, like me or any of the other people on Ask One Radio, could you imagine that? Now, I'm not trying to put Ask One Radio out of business. I'm just suggesting that Ask One Radio become a branch of the government. Why not? Wouldn't you like to be able to do that and know that these are like certificated, genuine tarot readers? Of course, then the question becomes, how would the government mess that up? Because, the word snafu comes from government. I remember I used to be shocked. I was shocked when I heard Walter Cronkite in the 70s use the word snafu, but because it's an acronym and it means situational, normal, all fouled up. And as is FUBAR, fouled up beyond all recognition. But I think that 87,000 mystics would be a cool thing to have. We'd get a few Kabbalists. You'd call up the government, you get the recording, press 1 for Kabbalah, press 2 for tarot, press 3 for the Department of Astrology. Why not? And who would pay for that? Taxes. The tax money that we spend. Would you rather have that or 87,000 IRS agents? Now, theoretically, the IRS agents will give a return on investment because they don't like to audit people unless they get money out of them. But what would the U.S. Department of Mystics get? What would they get? What would they get out of it? Well, happy people. How's that? People can be very happy doing this. I mean, listen to people calling up any of the shows here on Ask One Radio. Quite often people will start scared, nervous, upset, sometimes crying, and they feel great by the end of the reading. They feel great, and it's got to do with human contact, and this is why Ask One Radio is so damn positive, because we're bringing people together. We're not here to make you feared. Is that the right way? Feared? Is that it? No, somebody sent me an email the other day because he heard a great word on a TV show. It's an old word. It was from an episode of The Night Stalker, and the great character actor Ned Glass, who played Doc in the original West Side Story film, said, "Didn't you used to work for the health department?" And nobody says used to anymore. But there's another tangent. But you see, that's good. That's the kind of thing you'll get when you call up the Department of Mystics. Because somebody will get into a conversation with you, and who knows where the hell that'll lead. But you'll feel good afterwards. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, okay, that could put a severe dent in my income as a professional reader, but on the other hand, I could join the government. I could get a job as a reader with the government, and then the government would pay me a salary, and then we would have a pension. And could you imagine how different this country would be if we had a whole bunch of astrologers and tarot readers and Kabbalists on a pension when they're old, and then the new guys, they train people? Oh, this would be great. I think I'm going to send a note to the White House tomorrow, and maybe Congress, or maybe I'll wait until the real people who are going to lead, it may change hands. So why don't I wait until January and see what happens? Because I would like to see a Department of Mystics, and that's going to be my crusade now. And we're going to, no, I shouldn't use that word crusade, because there could be Muslim mystics also. I mean, there's no reason that we can't have that. Greek mysticism, Islamic mysticism, it's all good, because there is no right or wrong. This is the example I always give. I'm in New York, you're in LA. We both want to get to Chicago. I go west and you go east. We are traveling in opposite directions, but we're going to end up in the same place. Now, you can tell I came up with that years ago, because today, who wants to go to Chicago? But let's make that Manhattan, Kansas, perhaps. Maybe they're doing better in Manhattan, Kansas. Well, I think you get my point. And then you could spend some time on the phone with a certificated tarot reader, or a Kabbalist, or astrologer, or a palm reader. You can do a palm reading. That there's no reason that you can't do that with a video hookup. And have a department of palm reading. I mean, they got our fingerprints anyway. Might as well look at our palm, right? That could be good. Now you got me going. Now I'm not going to get to sleep until 8 in the morning. Well, look, as long as you perked me up, let's get into some tarot reading. As you hear, I've been shuffling up the cards. I hope that isn't too annoying, but I like to shuffle the cards up as I talk. And we are now going to ring the bell so that we can declare sacred space and begin the readings. We are now in sacred space, and we'll draw back the curtain on the magical window for Catherine in Denver, Colorado. Hi, Catherine. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hello, Reverend Eliot. Thanks for taking my call.
That's what I'm here for. How are you doing tonight?
I'm quite well, thank you very much. And yourself?
Doing well. I get such a rush doing the show. I've been doing this for a little over 10 years, and it still gets to me. I can't be blasé about it. I just love it. So what can I look at for you tonight?
Excellent.
Yeah,
I'm interested in both love and career.
Well, okay, as long as you don't combine the two, because that can get you arrested outside of Nevada.
No, separate. Separate,
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's see what we get. The cards will tell me which one we'll be looking at first, and well, the first thing I've got is Wands, which is a card that's the Five of Wands, and that generally relates to career. But I've also got cards here of Cups, which relate to romance. So that's pretty good. Let's see if we can make sense out of this. This could be relating to seeking romance. Is that what are you seeking romance, or are you in a relationship now?
In a relationship now.
Okay, because there's the Five of Rods is an interesting card. It's a card of stiff competition, and it's not. It's a bunch of people hitting each other with sticks, but it's not really warfare and fighting. It's more like the rigors of life, the competition. And that usually shows up with single people. But so it's good. That's why I asked if you're in a relationship now. But seems to be more related to work. You're looking for some new career, some new work?
Yes, I just accepted a new job.
Oh, you just got a new job?
20 years in the same industry, yeah. I did.
Okay, good, because I got the Ace of Rods here, and that's about a new job. The rods are work and career, and the aces are obviously, it's the one, so it's beginning. And there was a bit of competition that you went through to get that job, but you got it, is what I see from the Five of Rods.
Okay.
Does this require that you relocate?
No.
Good, because there's two possible meanings for the next card. The Six of Swords, and one is literal, and one is moving. The other one is getting from where you are, and this is the one I prefer, and it's probably the reason you got a new job, so this is probably the correct reading. The Six of Swords is about getting from where you are in life to where you want to be, using your own willpower, talents, and abilities, and you're doing that. So okay. That's good. So that seems to me those are three cards there that relate to you in terms of new work. The next is the Queen of Cups, and that is the card that's where we're getting into the romance stuff. To me, it's fascinating that the two things you asked about are here: the cups and the rods, with a side trip into swords. The Queen of Cups is about something that's developing. Is it a new relationship?
We're 3 years in, but it's pretty intense.
Yeah, well, it's developed. Well, that could also be that five of rods, which tells you it's kind of stiff, not competition, but it's rigorous.
Mm.
There is a card here that can be a little can be about a little concern. That's not important really, but it's just something that if things are not working out exactly the way you want them, are they?
Not at the moment, but I think I trust their emotion.
Okay, because that's the point. This card is that it's about some of it isn't working out, but it's going to be okay. It's the Five of Cups. Go online if you don't know tarot and look at that card. It's an interesting card. Shows a person looking at three spilled cups and is preoccupied with that loss or that thing that didn't work out. But there are two full cups behind her, and that means that you're going to turn around at some point and see that you still have plenty left over, and it's going, and things are good.
Excellent. I like that.
So if there's a concern about that, there shouldn't be. It's a normal thing that, when people, it's 3 years. That sounds like a long time in a relationship, but it's not, as you know, I'm sure. But it's
for every moment in those 3 years.
It's good. I mean, I've got the World here, which is a card of assured success. There's only one card here that's a warning, and that's the Ten of Rods. And so it could either relate to business or to the relationship. Is don't overburden yourself. Don't take on way too much more than you can handle. That's the only thing I see. But other than that, everything's fine. I mean, you're going to get yourself to where you want to be with this new job. That's the Six of Swords. The romance, the relationship is developing, and even though there are some disappointments, it's not going to get in the way. There's going to be great success in this relationship. That's the World card. And then that warning, just not to overburden yourself. But it looks good. It looks fine.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Reverend. That's very helpful and encouraging. I greatly appreciate your time.
My pleasure. It looks good. It looks like you're in for an interesting ride, and this may be a good. Let me pull one more card. Just look at that. It's the Lovers. Okay, there you go. That's beautiful. What more do I need to say, right?
Self-explanatory, huh?
Yeah. So things are they're gonna continue to work out very well.
Oh, that's amazing. I feel so encouraged. Thank you. That so helps my heart. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for your kind words. Bye-bye now. And let's shuffle up the cards. You're listening to Reverend Eliot, soon to be the Secretary of Mystics in the United States government. There. How's that for daydreaming? They told me never. They said, stop that daydreaming. Stop daydreaming in school, in grade school. Stop daydreaming. Stop that. Stop daydreaming. That's okay. That's fascinating. What the hell is daydreaming? And then I realized that it's my imagination. And I made a living off my imagination for so many years. Screenplays. Did very well in that department. Put a lawyer out of work. I got a lawyer to retire with that money. And then we went into the newspaper business with the money that we made in the screenplay business, and all of that stuff requires imagination. And I really, we'll discuss that one day when I'm a little bored with my job at the Department of Mysticism. I will see if I can take over the Federal Department of Education, because I don't like the way education is run. And it's got nothing to do with all the hot button issues. It's a more simple thing. The word education comes from the word educe. And the word educe means to draw out, to find out what a person is good at, to find out what a child excels in, and draw that out and encourage that. Instead of drawing out, our education system crams in. You got to learn dates. You got to learn this. You got to learn that. No, you see, that's not learning. That's memorizing. That's the way I look at it. So, hey, you're talking to a guy who as a kid read the World Book Encyclopedia from one end to the other, so what can I tell you? Danielle in Arizona is next. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot.
I'm doing good.
Hi, glad to hear that. What can I look at for you?
I guess my career. I'm trying to get a new job here, changing career path, and I just want to see how it's going to go.
Well, this is the part where I'm supposed to say, yes, I know, because that's what So, but you know something, the fact is that that is what I saw. As soon as you answered and I turned over a card, it's a card I had earlier for somebody. It's the Six of Swords, which is a card about getting from where you are to where you want to be. And that's the first thing when I see that, if it's an adult, I ask, are you looking for a different kind of work? Well, let me tell you this. The next thing I have here is the Ace of Rods, which I also had for the previous caller, and that is the beginning of new work. So there is something new coming, and it's going to be really good. That's followed by the Page of Coins, the appearance of more money in your life. So you're going to get paid well, going to do better financially. The Nine of Cups is about a person who is comfortable and satisfied and enjoys the good things in life, and then the Four of Rods is a happy home and all the good stuff that goes with it. I'm seeing that, yeah, you because of the Six of Swords, which is you actively looking for something better and to make something better happen in your life, followed by the Ace of Rods. All the other cards indicate cups. There's a cup card. That's what I said. That the coins, the cups, and the rods here, they indicate great success. And
well, that's pretty amazing.
And,
I'm very glad to hear that.
Well, because you're not the kind of, I've known people who made a lot of money and that depressed them. That's not you. From what I see, you're going to be really happy. And they say money can't buy happiness, but knowing how to use money can get you happiness. And I think you know how to do that, to enjoy things in life. What's the great crime in that? So you'll do okay. Let me tell you this. I'll give you a little hint here. It's the Three of Coins I've got. Now, that's about starting a new job. And it could be a temporary job, or it could be an assignment within a company that has a deadline, because three are about completion. So what I'm seeing is that you're going to get this job, and you're going to do very well at it and be recognized for having done well at it, and that'll lead to other things. That's the important thing.
Oh, okay.
So when you put because I got the Ace of Swords, it means you're going to put your mind to this and you're really going to knock it out of the park. So keep an eye. Don't be disappointed if it seems like it's a temporary job, because that's the cards say that if that's what it is, you're going to excel at that, and they're going to say, we can't let this person go. Okay?
Yes, it is a part-time job.
Oh, see, there you go. And you're going to develop.
And it can move into permanent, yes.
Yeah, well, I see you're going to do really well at that. So keep that in mind. Let's see if there's any other card here. See, the threes, I had the Three of Coins, the Three of Cups is here. Now, the threes are completion. And this is the completion of a matter in plenty, is the traditional Romany meaning of that card. So you will do very well when you complete that assignment, and it'll get you more work and on a regular basis, and a steady thing. If you've been having any difficulties and hard times, the Ten of Swords is here. That means the worst is over, and now there's a new phase beginning. So hang in there, because it's going to go very well for you.
Do you have any other messages? Today's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. No, I don't have anything else. Let me see. I'll shuffle them up now that I know and see what we get. Well, the Two of Cups is an interesting card. Are you in a relationship now, or are you looking for one?
I'm in one now.
Okay, is it fairly new, at least? Because this is a card of something new.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
good. Well,
new.
Because it's the Two of Cups, and that's followed by the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is a perfected happiness and love and joy. So this is telling me that this new relationship that you're in is very good. I have to be very careful with that, because when I was a baby card reader, I said to somebody, you're going to head to a new relationship that's going to be wonderful. And she said, I wonder what my husband thinks about that. So it can so that's why it doesn't have to be a brand new coming up relationship. It can be a new one here, that it could be something that's recent, or it can mean a new phase in a long-term relationship. It's a very complex thing, which is probably, you got to judge that based on the cards around it. Otherwise, it's just a nice way that we readers can cop out without committing. But I see a fairly new relationship that's going to be really, really, really good. Very good. Okay?
Wow, that's great to hear. Yes, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Call again sometime.
I will. Thank you so much, and you have a good night.
I will now. Thanks. Bye-bye. And let's shuffle up the cards again. You're listening to Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, and we're here every Wednesday at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific. And let me tell you, my idea, which just kind of floated out of my brain earlier about a U.S. Department of Mystics. I'm kind of getting fond of that. I am going to start sending, about January 1st, I'll send letters out to these people. I mean, actual letters. I might even do it on parchment and write them by hand with a quill. Although, my handwriting was always bad enough, but years of using word processors have just killed off anything. The teacher who taught us cursive when I was in the second grade, she was a holy terror anyway, but she would probably kill me to see it now. Just awful what's become of my writing. But we can take care of that because people can do anything they want. You don't necessarily do it well, but you can do it, Why not? I admire the people people get referred to as life's losers, and that is so unfairly judgmental. There's a wonderful book called Broadway's Beautiful Losers about several plays that just didn't make it in the theater, but they're wonderful, wonderful plays. One of them is by S.J. Perelman, the great S.J. Perelman, called The Beauty Part, with Bert Lahr. You never know. There's a saying in the entertainment business where I squandered a great deal of my life, and that is, it could happen to anybody. And that's used in many circumstances. And this is a philosophical thing that should be remembered. You can be the biggest star in the world and nobody shows up for a show of yours and you have to cancel it. The house could be empty. It can happen to anybody, they'll say. It could happen to anyone. Or you could be in a show and the next thing you know, you're the toast of Broadway and you're a big star. Now that you can let that go to your head and you can be a miserable person to be around, or you can realize that could happen to anybody. Now, when I was a baby person in show business, and I don't mean a baby, literally, although I did do commercials when I was a little child. And but as an adult, when I started to crack into the entertainment business, there were several bars in New York City that were amenable to theater people. And I don't even know where people would go nowadays to do it. But that was just wonderful. There would be old timers there, and then people like me who were just starting out, and the old timers, the real old timers, man, they would just treat you like one of them because they knew that they were stars by a fluke. It could happen to anybody was the attitude. Now I'm talking about people I used to hang around with, like Fred Gwynne and Robert Preston. You see how old I am. And I mean, Robert Preston is a perfect example. He would leave and say, anybody heading uptown, split a cab, That's it. For any customers, anybody. He didn't care. He just saw himself as a person who went to work and his job happened to be in the theater or in a movie, and then he'd go home. There was no ego about it, although to the degree that you have to have a certain amount of ego in order to be a performer. Yeah, but it wasn't maniacal. These were people who were just fun to be around, and I learned from them. And the question was, and I would speak to them about it and said, how did it feel to be a big star? And people like that would say, well, it could happen to anybody. There was no control over that. It could happen to anybody. And that's why we read tarot cards, to see if that's in our future. But I think you have to be a little bit out of your mind to want to be a big star. Yeah. It's nice to walk down the street and have nobody know who you are. Fran Lebowitz, the writer, once said that being a famous writer is about enough fame for her because people know who you are, but nobody recognizes you in restaurants. So that's the way to go. So hey, we'll iron all the details out when I get the Department of Mystics going up. Shamil now is next, calling from Massachusetts, Boston. I spent so many wonderful hours and days in Boston. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi.
Hi, is this Shamil in Boston?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. I have very fond memories of the little time I spent in Boston so many years ago. What can I look at for you tonight?
Anything.
Anything. Okay. Well, let me ask you a rather provocative question, perhaps. Is there somebody in your life, or do you get the feeling that there's somebody who's causing trouble for you?
Yes, a couple of people.
You do? Okay, because I got a card here that says, that's it. Okay. Now, if you think that you're wrong, I'm telling you the cards are saying you're right. And these are not nice people.
Okay.
Now, the question is, what can you do about it? And there are certain things you can do. There are certain protection things that can be done. You can burn things like candles that are red and black, which are they return bad intentions back to people. But I don't think you need to do that, because I see that these are people who are after a while, they're going to give up and try to go after somebody else. I have a very strong indication that there are people in your life doing that, and they're not nice people. That's what I don't get into that very often, because that smacks of people saying, well, I see somebody put a curse on you, and if you give me $6,000, I'll show you how to take the curse off. And that's the kind of stuff that ethical readers don't do. And when I talk about that, I do mention that occasionally I can see in the cards when somebody is doing harm to someone else. And you definitely have some people who are wasting their lives trying to be nasty to you. But I don't show them succeeding. Okay? Now, if you want to wait them out and deal with it, fine. If you want to return the energy, there are all kinds of ways you can get in touch with me. My email is asktarot@earthlink.net. Or you can find me through askoneradio.com, or you can contact me through magic-works.com, or just go online and look for Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, and you'll find a way to contact me. And I'll be happy to send you some information, no charge, of course, in how to do that. Because, like I said, I'm very leery. This is an old-time kind of racket where people will say there's somebody trying to harm you, and I will, for a fee, I will help you. But I do see there is, you can't do that. I mean, that's like the fire department negotiating with you when you call and say the building's on fire. And I refuse to do that. But yeah, I definitely, in your case, see that there are people who are trying to do you harm, but they won't succeed. So if you feel like dealing with it, let me know at some point, okay? And I'll be happy to send you a little information on what you can do to, not to attack them, but to shield yourself, okay?
Okay.
Let me just, I see. I've got like the Seven of Rods is here. That's a card about somebody who can sweep away problems. You'll be fine. They're not going to hurt you. And people like that, when they find that they can't really do any damage to someone, will go on to somebody else. And maybe that person will contact me. But you'll be okay. But let me know if it's a problem, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else you wish to look at?
Is there a reason why these people are attacking me?
Well, I don't see, let's just.
Because honestly, that's the problem. I don't even know why I'm being attacked in the first place. I mean.
Yeah. Well, you see, I got the Seven of Cups, and that's about unfocused ideas, and sometimes it's a confused mind. I just think these people are messed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
But again, what I have for you after that is the Sun, which is healing and growth and health, and the Ten of Cups, which is guaranteed perfected happiness. And this is followed by so many positive cards that I just don't think that it's worth giving it a thought. But it is annoying. I know that. I've been there. Look, my wife and I spent 20 years running a newspaper. There were people who wanted to shoot us.
Yeah.
But at least we knew where they were and where they were coming from. I don't see them as inflicting any damage on you at all. But like I said, if you get in touch with me, if you feel the need to in a few days or whatever, if you think it over, because the main thing is I want you to know that these feelings you have are correct. Okay, because that can bother a person. If you think that somebody's doing this, then you think, what am I, paranoid? Am I crazy? But I definitely see that they're doing this. Now, the next card I have here for you is the Temperance card, which means balance will be restored. So you're going to come out all right. But if you want to give it a little goosing, just drop me a line, and I'll direct you to where you can get a candle or some sort like that. If you have a New Age store in there or an occult shop, just go in and say you want to do a return spell. You don't even have to know who they are, just to protect you. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
I'll light a white candle tonight to send positive energy your way to help shield you. How's that?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Bye-bye now. And let's shuffle up the cards. There's a joke, and it's a grammatical joke, and I'm pretty sure I haven't told this during the 10 years I've been doing the show because I try to restrain myself a little bit. But it relates to Boston, and every time I get a caller from Boston, I think about this. And there aren't that many grammatical jokes in the world, but the joke is two guys meet up and says, "Hey, I went on vacation." He said, "Where'd you go?" He said, "Oh, I went to New England." "Oh, anything interesting?" "I got scrod in Boston." He said, "Geez, that's the first time I've ever heard the past pluperfect." Oh, wait a minute. You see, now I need to do this, of course. Yeah. There you go. Oh, I hit the magic bell. That's telling me to mind my own business. Anyway, that's the scrod in Boston joke, and it's the past pluperfect. So anyway, let's get back to the readings. We're going to Mylyn in British Columbia, Canada. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, you're good. How are you doing tonight?
Very good.
Beautiful. What can I look at for you?
Just regarding my career. Do you have any readings for career?
Okay. Let's see. Wow, this is the third time tonight somebody's asked about career, and I've got the same card here, which is the Six of Swords. That's about getting from where you are to where you want to be. So you're whatever you're doing, you're improving your life with that, and it's emotionally satisfying for you. I got the Ace of Cups. Are you looking for a new job that does that, or does your job give you all of that already?
It does give me that. I just want a different position within the company.
Well, what I'm seeing is because that Ace of Cups is very good. I mean, if you can, Alan Watts once said, and if anybody's on social media, and I know that everybody has a propensity to fight and argue on social media, but if you really want to start a fight, just put up this quotation from Alan Watts, which is, "All sensible people make a living doing what they enjoy doing." And people will go ballistic on you. But I see that you enjoy what you're doing, and it's very fulfilling. And the Six of Swords is what led me to ask if you're looking for something new, because that is about a person seeking a change for the better. And according to this, you're going to find it. You'll do okay. Let's see, what else do I have here? Yeah, this is going to take a little time. You may be working with somebody else for this to manifest. That's the Three of Rods. Threes are very big today. We must be coming, well, as the year ends, we get more and more threes because it's about wrapping stuff up. But the three refers to a partnership, usually. But it also refers to waiting for something to bear results. And I think it's going to be very good for you that way, because these it's just everything I get. There's the Four of Swords. These are cards saying it's going to take a little time. Now, the payoff, right? The payoff is the King of Coins. That means someone who can manage money very well, is very good with money. The Empress is a person who can make things grow and things happen. The Nine of Cups is somebody who can get real sensual enjoyment out of the good things in life, and and can afford them. That's the main thing. And the Ten of Cups is just great happiness and joy at home. So I think you're going to get what you want, because all that good stuff is coming your way.
Awesome.
Anything else you want to look at? Oh, gosh, here's where the 6 of rods just kind of fell out of the deck. That's rods is also work and career, and it's about triumph and success, and it's so good that you'll be noticed for it. So you're on the right path. Keep doing what you're doing because it's going to pay off. Okay?
Okay. Anything? Awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
What about intuition? Like how to be more intuitive, opening up your more.
Let me tell you, there's a book about that. There is. Okay. I don't talk about this book much. I spoke about it a lot when I started doing this because it's an exciting book. It was written in the 1930s, and it was republished with the option for me to write a new introduction to the book. But I didn't because I said the book is perfect the way it is. It's called Hunches. Okay, it's about those feelings that we get in life, and it's about various forms of psychic ability and how to develop that. It's the best book I ever read on that, and that sounds like it's right up your alley. The book is called Hunches. It's by Lloyd Kenyon Jones. You can find it at mojoacademy.org, and you can order it one of two ways. You can either order it through Amazon.com, or you can get it for less by going right to the printing plant where it's manufactured. And at mojoacademy.org, it'll explain how to do that. But take a look at the information about the book Hunches there. I believe it's on the homepage where there's a whole bunch of books listed. Rather than read everything we have there at the homepage, just go to mojoacademy.org and then search for the word Hunches, and it'll take you right to it. Because that'll do it. That is about the intuitive side and listening to it. Because that pays off a lot more than many people think. And this is how to develop it and nurture it and control it and use it. And I've never heard any complaints about this book.
Okay.
So give it a shot. Okay.
Look good for that. All right.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for your reading.
Thank you. Bye now.
Thank you.
Now let's shuffle up the cards again. We've got a little bit of time left, so let's see if we can get another reading in. Until then, something I was going to do a little plug here for some stuff since holidays coming up. But let's go right to Sally in Australia. Hi, Sally in Australia. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, how you going?
I'm doing well. I said tonight because it's coming on midnight here, but it's the middle of the day where you are, I suppose.
Yes, it's only about 3 o'clock here.
Oh, boy. We're talking to the future now. So what can I look at for you? I've got about 3 minutes left.
That's all right. Just wondering, my older sister got diagnosed with breast cancer a few years ago, and they said if it doesn't come back within the 5 years, she should be right. It was aggressive cancer. So I was just really looking in on her health, to be honest.
Well, what I'm seeing, and obviously, when people ask about health, I always give the admonition to make sure you're getting medical attention. But you obviously are getting medical attention.
Yes.
Yes. I'm seeing cards here that show me that things are going to be okay. Okay, this is interesting. Now, don't get alarmed because I'm going to tell you what the first card is, but it doesn't mean what people think it means. It's the death card. It doesn't mean you're going to die or she's dead. You got the death card means the end of one period in life and the beginning of something else, because there's a sunrise on that card. It means that when the cards do show death, it's very clear, and it shows them in an arrangement with several cards. And in all the years I've been reading, I've only seen that once. Because, ultimately, we're all going to go. But what I'm seeing here is this: she's entering a new stage in life. The Seven of Rods is a person who has conquered all obstacles. And the sun is the card that says that's healing and growth and health and happiness, mostly health and happiness. So I'm seeing that the cancerous phase is winding out. Naturally, this is something you're going to have to keep tabs on because it doesn't mean that it's all over now. You might be on the path to it, but I see it ending.
Fantastic.
So that's good news. It's just that, that first card can freak somebody out with a question like that freaked me out, but it ends with the sun, which is health and happiness and all of that good stuff. So I think that the treatment is going to be good. And because I know that 5-year window, if you make it, can be really good.
Yes, well, yeah, that's what they told her. They said if she makes it there, it's less likely to come back because it was an aggressive one. But we're hoping she's been dealt with a lot of health issues in the past, and then copped that one to top everything off.
Well, the sun card is the card of health and growth and joy and happiness. So that looks good. I've got to run. The clock's running out on me. But I will send positive. I will light a white candle. I'll light a white candle to send positive energy tonight also. Okay?
Oh, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Bye-bye now. And that's it. We've come to the end of another edition of Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, which is, I'm going to do what I can to keep the show going after after I'm named the Secretary of Mysticism in the whatever administration falls for it. I don't know. You never know. But, until then, listen, I put some odds on your side to get good things happening. Go over, because we got the gift season coming up, right? I love that time of year. Please check out magic-works.com, magick-works.com. Look at the occult jewelry page, because there's some nice little amulets and talismans and things there that will help you magically to achieve your goals and remind you of your goals every time you look at them, which is where magical work really happens, is in the imagination and the mind. And there's a sale there now. They've knocked a few bucks off of them. But if you go to magic-works.com, magick-works.com, go to the page that says occult jewelry. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. There's stuff there from talismans to pocket watches and wristwatches. Well, I've got to go now. I'll see you again here next week. And remember, who you are is the universe's gift to you. Who you become is your gift back to the universe. Bye-bye now.